Hi, friends. Welcome to Podcast in a Peartree. And I'm Danielle.
I'm Samantha.
And I'm Aaron Lee. And now we're going to talk about a movie.
We're going to talk about a movie.
Let's get into it.
A movie. The movie we're talking about today is Single All the Way, available on Netflix. So very excited to talk about this film. I'm going to give you a brief summary here. So Single All the Way is about a guy. A guy.
And another guy.
A guy and another guy.
And another guy.
There's a lot of guys. We have Peter, who is our main character, played by Michael Urie, James, who played by Luke McFarlane, and Nick, played by Philemon Chambers. And Peter and Nick are best friends and roommates. They come back to New Hampshire together, and under that guise of telling Peter's family that, surprise, we've started dating. But they really haven't started dating. But of course, as always happens, a meddling mother gets in the way, and she has a date for her son Peter, and that is James. And James is rather hunky. Peter likes shoulders, and so kind of really enjoys his time with James. Then it love triangles away. What'd you think of this one? It love triangles away. What'd you think of this one, Samantha?
I like the story. I love the family. I like the main characters. And Luke McFarlane, obviously, we've seen him in Hallmark films in the past. So that was interesting that he was in this film. But I felt like, him as the setup from the mom as the love interest, he's like a nice guy. Like, I didn't hate him. I was like, oh, okay, he's like good enough for Peter. Like, what's wrong with this guy? I thought he was great. But I also thought it was great that the family was super into getting Nick and Peter together, the BFFs. Almost a little too hardcore at times, but I thought it was endearing and cute. And then also Jennifer Coolidge, like who?
Oh, national treasure.
I love Jennifer Coolidge. I mean, who doesn't? So, I mean, her in this film, you can't go wrong with her.
Sandy.
She's so funny. And the fact that the play was called Jesus H. Christ was like hilarious to me. There was just like so many elements of this film that were very Netflix and fresh and fun. And what did you guys think?
I agree with you about the fun and the refreshing. Like, I was laughing so much. The family was just so funny. No one was really quite the stereotype, and no one was the bad guy. Like James, you would think
there
James,
was no bad guy.
Yeah, everyone was good. That is something I really appreciated, because I think usually in the film there's always like one nefarious character, or someone who's like dubious, or someone that you're like, oh, they're not that great. But I could like everybody. Like, same thing with James, like you said, Samantha. He was solid and a good guy. Not a match for our main character Peter, who I haven't seen Michael Urie in a while, so it was nice to see him. I'm like, oh, you're around, thank you. And then Nick as the best friend, and all the TaskRabbit plugs, like
oh yeah, TaskRabbit benefited from this
big time. And the fact that he was also a book writer, and
he was so sweet and so freaking cute. I thought he was so cute. Yeah. I thought he was so cute. Like, I love him.
So cute. Absolutely. Like,
himself. Here's what I really appreciated about this and the relationship and the way everything turned out is when there's a love triangle like this and nobody does anything wrong. I really feel bad for the person that gets left out. Usually I'm like, oh, but they're such a good person. And in this case, it would be James, Luke McFarlane's character. He's such a good person. He's so sweet. He's so nice. He has shoulders. He was thoughtful. He likes to kiss on the ski slopes.
Well, and you can't, there's something to be said about people that, they just like living in their hometown. And he was just like, you know what? I like skiing. I like doing what I'm doing. And I like New Hampshire. And who doesn't love that little Christmassy town they live in New Hampshire? Like, I'm about to move there too. So it's like,
but here's the thing, it's like, he's now all set to move to LA and become a celebrity fitness instructor on Instagram because of the
ads
razor
that
commercial that they shot, and now his Insta's blowing up, and so he gets something out of it. I'm like, wait a minute, everybody's really happy at the end of this.
Mhm.
James didn't lose. He's got a whole career ahead of him now.
Mhm.
Woohoo! Head to
But
LA, take over Peter and Nick's apartment. They'll move back here, take over your apartment, and build the bookstore or plant store.
Plant store, yes.
You know what
They
I
should sell
love
books
though?
and plants together.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect. They could have like a little cafe. There's like so much that could be done with this. But the one thing that I really loved was that even though James, his photo shoot, that was really hunky and great, but I also felt like it was garbage compared to Nick's photo shoot. I thought that was
someone's biased to Nick.
Right? And I just thought it was just like really romantic, and you could tell that, they really.
Yeah, well, Nick's photo shoot was more planned too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Peter gets a text and he's like, oh crap, I need more photos like this. Hey, guy next to me, would you be in a photo? Take a weird picture with me? Let me run in and grab some shaving cream at the drugstore that we happen to be in front of.
Yeah, but Luke McFarlane's hot enough that it wouldn't matter usually, and I felt like it was still second best.
So Samantha, you like the shoulders, do you?
I do like the shoulders, but I'm just saying, like, I really loved he and Nick's, like, I don't know. I just thought they had really good chemistry, and I thought he was great because he was so sweet, and he was like children's book writer. Like, who doesn't want to date somebody who writes children's books?
And that's exactly why the family really loved him so much and was rooting him on to be with Peter. And this whole time, even though he's like, no, I don't think so. And the daughters of, I think, let's see, there were the two daughters,
the nieces.
Of the daughters of the sister Lisa, who were super hardcore about putting, like, shipping them together, along with Peter's dad was like,
oh yeah,
they should be together. So funny, just be like, and they end up convincing the whole family, yeah, they should be together. So they all go on board basically to, like, the whole family, like the two sisters and then their respective families, like their kids, all of them are all in on it, trying to, like, do everything. And my favorite scene was the one where they are trying to sabotage Peter's date with James, and then literally the sister, like, bumps into him with, like, a tray of stuff, and just like,
I love that too.
Wow, you just went to the extreme here. It was like the comedy was just hilarious, and they just took it to the extreme, and I found that so funny.
So I'm glad you brought up the nieces, because I think they were like a great little dynamic duo in the film, and I thought there was another really great dynamic duo in the film, and I'm curious to know which one you preferred. Did you like the nieces better or Linda and Judith the plants? Because I loved Linda and Judith. I thought Linda and Judith were just so. I thought that scene really set the tone for the entire movie. The fact that he comes home and he's got this beautiful LA apartment full of all these gorgeous plants. My girlfriend and I were both like, ooh, I want those plants, because we can't keep a plant alive to save us. And then he talks to them and he's named them, and then one gets jealous of the other.
I know.
I love Linda and Judith.
I know.
I love
so
Linda
endearing.
and Judith.
No, they're some of the stars of the film, for sure.
Definitely.
I also love is it like a sign or whatever that's in the house that talks about, it's like counting down the days of Christmas. I always love that when they do that in a film, where it's like, okay, we're getting down to like a few days before Christmas, the naughty or nice thing. What does it say? I forgot what it said. Something about like,
yeah, like this many days left to be nice, or to get on the nice list. I also like the fact that Aunt Sandy kept adding days.
She's the best. But I also love the mom, because she was like really, really, I don't know, she really wanted to set Peter up with James and that whole thing. So she was kind of like on the other side of Nick and Peter.
Trying to be supportive.
Yeah, but she
Uh,
also was like, not like these guys need to get together. I set him up with James.
Kath,
Lots of funny quirks that everybody had. So the moms makes all these funny signs.
Mhm.
One of the sisters, Peter's sisters, has like a cosmetic line, like farm on my face. I was like, it's so
Oh my God, I
awkward. I'm like,
know.
oh, okay.
check it out at farmonmyface.com.
Oh, that was hilarious. I
So
love
can you
that.
hashtag farm on my face? I'm like, oh, it's so weird. Very, very cute. But I did, going back to the girls, they contributed also to one of the parts of the film that I was like, oh, Netflix got money, was when they did a dance with Peter to Britney Spears' My Only Wish. I was like, you
Right?
got rights to a Britney Spears song to put
They
into
got
this
Netflix
movie.
dough.
Wow, you
Netflix
Mhm.
dough.
got some, yeah, that's definitely some Netflix dough. So
What did you guys think
Jinx.
of the Christmassy town in New Hampshire? I thought it was really refreshing that Peter was like, you know what? I'm okay with moving back home from LA. I thought it was like interesting just because I don't know, we're all from other places and we moved to LA and it's like it's a hard place to leave. So when he was like, you know what? I could move home in this.
I get on the plane to go home tomorrow. I'm so excited because
I
I will
know.
be going to New England. It's not
Lucky.
snowy there right now, but
It will
I'll
be
be there.
Christmassy.
It will be Christmassy. It
Oh,
really will. For crying out loud, they could film all the Netflix and all the Hallmark and all the Lifetime movies in my hometown.
oh my gosh, I'm so
Like,
jealous.
talk about white picket fences with fresh garland draped across them and big red bows. It's what
And
we do.
wreaths? Are there a lot of
There
wreaths?
are
I imagine
every
there's
you
wreaths
have to have a
everywhere.
wreath. You have to have a wreath. And when I was a kid, you had to get it from Story's potting shed.
Oh my
That's where
gosh, I
all
love
the
that.
wreaths in Essex came from. If your wreath did not come from Story's pot, if you dared go to the building center for your wreath, we'd run you out of town.
Oh my gosh. These Christmassy New England towns are my spiritual home. I love them.
there was snow in this movie, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I know it started with, I have that in my notes. Snow, fake, but I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
It was fake snow, and there were a lot of hunky Santa guys.
Yep.
But
That's
I'll
for
take
sure.
it. It's snow. Snow is snow.
Well, let's talk about when okay, so when Nick tells Peter that like he comes to this conclusion after the whole weekend spending with the family. The family's like, you guys need to be together. And he's like, I don't know. And then he finally is like, yeah, I do love him. And he tells him, and then Peter's reaction.
But the thing is, though, that I will say this is probably why I like the nieces so much, is because like they played match. They literally, it
Mm-hmm.
worked. They played matchmaker. They were like, so how to tell? Like you feel they were like egging them on, and they finally admit, and then they then they tell Nick, hey, he feels the same way. Yeah. But so I mean that gives Nick that assurance. Oh, okay, he
Yeah.
does, which is kind of nice. And yet that's why when Peter was like, oh, has this opposite reaction, it's kind of like, no, Peter, that's not what you told them. Why are you doing this? Why?
Sabotage.
Sabotage. And then James comes in, not James's fault. He just had that timing. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, let's go. And it just, you're just like, oh no, here's the tension point. Here's the tension point. I mean, they needed to have that in order to kind of have be some sort of catalyst for bringing them together in the end, which but it was hard for me to see. I felt the pain. I was like, no.
I know, and I almost felt like, are we gonna have this airport moment? I don't know. And then all of a sudden, like he's like, I'm gonna go and see if he's at Boston Logan Airport, and then he
He
sees
takes
them
one last task rabbit job.
right. I'm like, he had some time to kill, so he's just gonna like go paint that shop or
I
whatever.
think what I suspect is that since he had bought the shop, since he bought the shop for him, he probably saw it come up and he's like, oh wait, this is the address, and was
Mhm.
like, oh, let me go see what this is, I'll accept it. And it was like his last thing that he was going to do was repaint this store that he bought for Peter with his rain money from the first book that he wrote, which
But
was
like, don't you have like travel anxiety? Like,
I
how do
like
you?
Samantha's answer better. He had extra time before his flight.
well, there was
so
no
he decided
guarantee
to pay
because
this
it was
off.
it was a very spontaneous decision from Tulip, right? The pageant had
I
just
know.
ended. He wasn't planning on leaving, and then all of a
He
sudden
was
he's like,
probably
"I
flying
gotta leave."
standby.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, okay, but painting is like a task. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Thus
messy.
the name
I know.
Task Rabbit.
I mean, I know he's a professional, but that like takes a lot of time. And I'm like, whoa, does he not have travel anxiety about getting to the airport at all? Like, I would be like flipping out.
I would too.
There's no way I'd be painting somewhere. I would be at a coffee shop with my bag right next to me, like looking at my phone.
What time you do to calm down? You just paint, get that roller out.
Oh my gosh. So I thought that was really interesting. And also like, he's just like, guess what? I bought this for you, which is like super romantic, but also like, what? That's like amazing.
Such a nice gesture.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Especially because it was like money he'd been saving for something
like a rainy day.
A rainy day. And he used it. So nice. That's love.
It is.
For sure. I bought you some property. I
mean, I'll take it and flip it. So I got a question for you guys. At the beginning of the movie, when Peter and Nick come home and they meet Peter's family for the first time, Peter has coached his mother in the ways that she should be behaving and understanding that two gay men can have a platonic friendship. And it seems very, very important to him. They make a big deal out of this. And then they kind of wipe that away by having them get together at the end. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the family, though, was converted to this idea with a lot of pushing. And so I think that really, it didn't come from, it came from the two nieces, really.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry,
really
I'm going back to that.
It got really, for a minute, I was like, whoa, this family is like really hardcore about this relationship all of a sudden.
Yes, they got, everyone jumped on the train. It was just like, and it was a speeding train very quickly. Because at first it was like, no. And then they're just aligned, their alliances. It was like, okay, it was the nieces, then the dad. And then it was like, then the moms of the sisters, aka the moms of the nieces and nephews. And then it was like, then finally the mom, then everybody.
Right.
Yeah, they all joined forces.
I thought the idea of setting that up was a pretty good story device because it really kind of kept that family train from taking off too early because the family was so excited, and that gave a good reason as to why Christmas Carol wasn't gung-ho about, oh my gosh, you and Nick should get together right from the start, because I mean, pretty much we all know the family wanted them together years ago.
Yeah, but it also gave her that like opportunity for the rest of the story of like, I need to set him up with some like local bachelor that's like really cute. So
it worked out.
It worked out.
It worked out. I thought it was a good device. I applaud the writers for coming up with that one.
No, I think it's good. And like, I don't know. I feel like everybody has that moment when their family is always like, what about this person? Like, when you're single and they're like, oh, why don't you guys date? Just date and stuff like that. So I feel like it's a very realistic storyline that families like get into, especially during the holidays. I don't know. I really
agree with the realism of the, we're just friends thing. I think that the realism of just friends becoming more than just friends is a little less common.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, especially when you're like BFFs.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But didn't they date in the past? Or is that a different film that I watched? I'm getting it mixed up.
I think that's a different one. This one, they were
they never dated, right?
They'd never dated. They fake dated when they first met because they were trying to get a family membership at the gym.
Oh yeah.
So they had that story where they improv'd a whole relationship.
That's cute.
But in like I think it's 10 years that they've been living together. If they had romantic feelings for one another, how did they not discover
know.
that living together for 10
But-
years.
Well, it
Maybe
also
someone
sounds-
did want to cross the line and ruin the friendship.
That, and also it sounded like they've been in like other relationships too, because
Right.
Nick had just exited a
Mhm.
relationship recently
That's
at
true.
the start of the film.
I know, with that guy was just bad news. There's a bad guy. He was not a
Mhm.
good guy.
Yeah, at least
He was
in it
married with children.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, both. So yes, right. Both of them were Nick had just exited one, and then Peter was in that with that cheating husband. Oh my goodness, that's right. I almost forgot about him.
I
That
know.
the guy, the cardiologist who like seemingly great on the outside, but then Nick takes a TaskRabbit job and then putting up these Christmas lights for this lady's house, and then the husband comes home and it's the boyfriend.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh wow.
I know. So maybe like the timing hasn't been right for them, and then nobody wants to ruin the friendship, and who makes the first move? Because then what if it goes bad? There's like a lot at stake, especially when it's like your best friend.
Yes, stars do have to align. Stars have to align.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So what did you guys think about this one?
A rating. Huh?
As far as like, yeah.
I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna watch this while I'm wrapping Christmas presents. It wasn't my favorite. I got a little bored kind of in the middle, but it did have some good one-liners. It was an interesting story, and yeah, like I'll have it on while I'm wrapping some presents.
Oh, I feel like I liked it a little bit more. I felt like it was I don't know, it was light and fun. Like I'd watch it in the afternoon, you know, maybe like a couple weeks before Christmas, not like the week of Christmas. You know.
Okay, but are you watching it in the afternoon curled up on the couch with Tom, or are you watching it in the afternoon with your best girlfriends and some Cosmos?
Yeah, maybe that. I mean, Tom and I did watch it together though. You liked it. You liked it. But yeah, probably that. I mean, it's a fun watch, and like I wouldn't be like, okay, I don't need to watch it again. I'd watch it again.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. It is something I'd probably be willing to watch again, because there are some movies that pop up and you're just like, okay, oh no, I don't really want to have this even just in the background again. This is one that I'd be fine to see again and have it play in the background again. And I will probably multitask, but I'll also be paying attention at the same time.
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
Yes, because it's
And it
cute.
has,
I laughed.
you know, some stars in there that I
Mhm.
enjoy.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. I laughed quite a bit at parts because I was just like, whoa, okay.
Okay, here's my recommendation for Netflix, though. They should do a sequel. It should be a Valentine's Day sequel, and it should be about the two nieces and the love app that they create.
oh, that's cute.
That's
The
cute.
two nieces become matchmakers.
They
They should, because they put in a lot of work.
they really
That-
did, and it worked.
That's for Netflix, free of charge. Go ahead.
Take the advice, Netflix.
Here you go, Netflix. Well, you guys, it's always fun talking to you about Christmas movies. So thank you so much for being here and chatting with me and with Danielle and with Samantha. We had a really
Yeah.
great time doing this. Please, please, please like and subscribe. And if you feel so inclined, we'd really appreciate a 5-star review.
And find us where you get your podcasts. Bye.
Bye.